Hey everybody, and welcome to Advanced Shouting alongside Dan Petru, my son Zachary Fogelman, and Michael Vartan over my shoulder, who is on assignment. That's in the TV world when they're not there on vacation, they're always on assignment. So
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know what they're doing, but we'll see Michael next week. But before we start the show, we have a great show. Big shout out to all the viewers, all the subscribers. We finally hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you everyone for doing that. Dan is polishing up his Emmys right now. He's going to send them out. Very excited.
Yep. Yeah. Everybody gets one.
Everyone gets one, exactly. But we appreciate everyone watching.
Well, you have more than me.
5.
Oh, I have 6 now.
Oh, look at you.
Oh.
Whoa, okay. So
I always thought you had more than me.
Yeah, so you can basically afford to, give out a couple.
Okay.
I'll get you the ball. I have to, basically hawk mine to pay for college. So
you've been the one who make questionable decisions.
Story of my life. All right. So, but before we, start the show, I want to, single out 2 people who have done so much for us, and to get to this point, Joanna, who's done so much for us, and Alicia, who we've never met before. Before all this, they both reached out, wanted to be a part of the show, and big shout out to both. I don't know if Joanna's watching right now because she's in Australia, but I know Alicia is watching, and thank you so much, and we appreciate everything you've done.
Quick Joanna story. We're working on an open animation, and she's done an amazing job. So she sent it to me on Sunday, because she's 16 hours ahead or whatever. And so I looked at it, and it looks great. But I just wanted to change a couple shots. And so Zach finally sent me like the 300 videos that he had.
Yeah.
So I sent her just from Zach, like maybe 30 videos. And then it was so nice. I walked around Midtown and shot all these new scenic shots with my cell phone. And so I ended up sending her like 50 videos. I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna be so pissed when she wakes up. And then all of a sudden I get a video message at about probably like around 7 a.m. her time. And she's like, why do you hate me so much? Before we get started too, I see on the chat here, hi everyone in the chat, I have to single out someone. If you look there, Aaron Donchin says, hey, Dan. Aaron Donchin and I go back about 25 years. We went to Quinnipiac University together, and he was my radio partner. The first radio show I ever did in college, I did with Aaron. It was a little show called The Restraining Order. It was every Sunday night on I can't remember the name of the radio station, but it was every Sunday night, and we had a blast doing it. So he's in Singapore right now, so I'm not sure what time it is there, but big shout out to Aaron.
Restraining order, is that something we should know about, Dan, or no? Yeah. All right. So one thing we never really talk about on the show, and even like lead the show, is basketball, and specifically the NBA. And of course, I'm being a front runner in that right now because my Brooklyn Nets are the hottest team in the NBA. So we're going to talk a little bit basketball with SNY's Maria Marino. Hey, Maria.
Hey, Maria.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so I've been a Nets fan. It's my show, so it's now it's our show, but I want my time right now. So I've been a Nets fan.
Go for it.
Since like late 80s, early 90s. Buck Williams, when they drafted Kenny Anderson, Derek Coleman, all those guys. So it's been a long stretch. You see my Drazen Petrovic jersey here. I'm going to admit, like, I was wrong, because when they acquired James Harden, I thought it was a terrible idea. They gave up so much, and I think those 3 big egos, big guys, and so far it's worked out. I mean, all 3 haven't really been in the lineup too much. With, all the COVID issues with Kevin Durant, and now his other issues. Kyrie took a little bit of leave of absence. Harden, when he came in, looks like he took a fat suit off from his time in Houston. But they're playing great. They won 7 in a row. They swept their West Coast trip. Can anyone in the East stop the Nets right now?
Well, it depends on how they decide they want to play defense. And you are right that it has worked out so far with the Harden trade, but it didn't work out right away, right? Like this 7-game stretch that they've won is evidence that it can work. But up to that point, I think we saw a bit of struggle from them and how they were going to put it all together and be able to hang on the defensive end. They talked about that loss against Detroit as sort of being this wake-up call, like, hey, we really need to step it up defensively. But at the same time, you got to be feeling good because Kevin Durant's barely been available, since Harden came to the team. And so you feel pretty good about where you're going to stand when he is available all the time. And I do think he's an upgrade defensively too. I think we forget that Kevin Durant's a very good defensive player, obviously, with all of his length. So I don't think that's going to hurt them there. As far as anyone else like stopping them, it's really hard to see. I mean, it's been impressive. It's not really a surprise that they're the leading offense in the league, just because of all the firepower that they have. But I think the key to what's made it work is James Harden's willingness to adapt and mold to whatever they had in place. So he was very much like, I'm kind of the new guy here. I'm going to do whatever the team needs. And it just so happens that he's a brilliant facilitator. So it's just worked beautifully having him assume more of the point guard role, having Kyrie step into more of a shooting guard role. And I mean, I think he's averaging like 11 assists or something, which is just absolutely, nasty. So I'm liking their odds to come out of the East.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, leading, the league in offense, I'd imagine they're giving up, I think, 112 points. I think, defensively, they don't have to play great defense. I mean, they just have to, play it when it's necessary. I mean, because that firepower is intense. You mentioned, Kevin Durant coming back, but this team has other pieces too that, Joe Harris, can put.
Yes.
Bruce Brown last night putting up, I think, career high, 29 points. I mean, so if they get, contributions from those, like I see others that I think Shaq, called them last week. I mean, I think really they're the only team that can stop themselves.
You make a good point. I'm pleasantly surprised at how the depth has worked out even after giving up what they gave up in the trade. Because, let's be honest, I was worried about, seeing Jarrett Allen go. Right. And so, because he was a big defensive, obviously, presence in the paint. And then, of course, Karis LeVert. Right. I loved and was an emerging star. Now, I think that, and I said this the day the trade went down, like, I think that they had enough, and they had enough rising stars aside from their superstar guys, that they would have had a great chance at winning a championship, and probably would have been set up a little bit better for future sustainability. But I also said, hey, if they win a title, then I'll just shut up, because, that's why you do this. You take a big risk like this to go all in on winning right now. And you mentioned, the idea of just outscoring opponents and that being enough. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that I think that's enough. Once you get to playoff series and it's a grind and people are fatigued. You saw the Nets a couple times, right after the Harden trade, lose really tight games, like in overtime, like games that you would think they'd have no business of being like in a close down to the wire game. But because they were just lackadaisical on defense, when it comes down to a possession or two, anything can happen. And so the fact that they've really turned it on defensively, I think is 100% like necessary, especially when you get to the playoffs.
Now, two more things for Brooklyn. Were you surprised when they released Andre Roberson after just signing him for the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I was, but I didn't have like a crazy reaction to it. I mean, he didn't get on the floor. I think they're still very much turning things over and trying to manipulate the roster as much as possible before the trade deadline. And so, like I said, I didn't have a big reaction to it, but like any sort of minor moves that they're doing right now, I just think is a matter of Sean Marks like tweaking things and just trying to make the absolute most of what they can do financially and just secure things before the deadline.
And then more than likely, they're the favorite to come out of the East. Yeah. But would you? I would say that Philadelphia is probably the only true competitor for them, and they do have scores, but they're more of a defensive team with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Do you think they could force Brooklyn to a 7-game series if that was to come, or do you think Brooklyn has the East wrapped up?
I would be hesitant to say anything's wrapped up, and I think Philadelphia is as hungry as anybody. They've been a team that's been sort of on the brink of making the finals or going like really deep in the playoffs here for the last couple of years. You have an MVP candidate in Joel Embiid. Ben Simmons is, just got another All-Star appearance. Like, they have, I think, experience now. And I think what's working is their coaching staff now, having Doc in there. They are definitely, I think, the biggest threat to Brooklyn in the East. And I really think after Philly, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee, there's definitely a drop off. And I know people aren't really scared of Milwaukee now because, the Nets beat them, and no one believes in Giannis being able to do enough in the postseason. I think I'd agree with that assessment. They don't seem as crisp as they've been in the last couple regular seasons. So I get that. But I know if they play Philly, it's going to be a dogfight. If Embiid plays the way he's been playing, which is like an MVP, if he plays consistently and Ben plays consistently, and Tobias Harris has been another great piece for them. I would love to see that series. I hope we get to see that series.
Let's travel a couple miles west over into Manhattan. And it just seems like now, while the record isn't exactly there yet, I'm going to use a word to describe the Knicks where I haven't used in a long time. Optimism. It seems like this team is going in the right direction, and they kind of remind me of the Islanders a few years ago, where when they brought in Lamorello, they brought in Barry Trotz, they brought in great people to run their organization, and everybody's getting out of the way and letting them run that organization. I see that happening with the Knicks right now.
They still have Charles Dolan. James Dolan.
Yeah, but he seems to be quiet right now, and he seems to be letting the basketball people do their job.
I would agree with that. There is a source of optimism for the Knicks now that has been lacking for the last few years. And the key is Tom Thibodeau. They found that piece. They found that right coaching hire. David Fizdale, unfortunately, he was not it. Even though I like Fizz. There's something about what Tibbs has done that has drilled a work ethic into this group. It's a young group for the most part. And they're the fact that they are leading the league in defense is incredible.
Right.
That's a really, if you're going to pat yourself on the back for anything so far, that's impressive. That's really, really impressive because they're doing everything. That's a sign to me that they're doing everything they can without necessarily having top tier talent, because the defense is mostly effort driven, right? It's mostly let's take what we have and, just make things hard for the other team. Let's just be pests. Let's just, put as much grit into this as we can. And they're doing that. And I just think this was such an essential step for the Knicks to actually show that they can be competitive. If they make the playoffs this year, I know they're probably going to be on the sort of the bubble. I think they're in the 7th spot right now. But if they can make the playoffs, that to me is a massive, massive step forward for them. Right. Because I truly feel, in addition to whatever you want to say about Knicks, their ownership or the reputation or what's cool, the biggest reason that free agents haven't wanted to come there is because they haven't seen a path to winning. They haven't seen a foundation where something was building, where it's okay, if I'm the missing link, I can come in and we can compete and we can make a run at this thing. They haven't seen that until this year. So they're hovering around 500. If they maintain that throughout the year, where they're staying in the hunt, they're staying in the playoff race, maybe they even sneak into the playoffs, that to me is just the value on that is so huge. Winning culture is so important. It really is. People talk about tanking. I hated what the Knicks did with tanking. I'll be honest. I couldn't stand it because I'm especially that year when it was the year that Zion was coming into the draft, right? And don't get me wrong, RJ Barrett, great draft pick, whatever. Not having as an immediate impact as a Zion would have. But like when that was happening, I'm just like, why? Like maybe Durant or Irving might have wanted to come there if they were winning some games. So that's how I feel. And I just think you can't overstate the importance of showing a competitive advantage. And I've heard things about like players not really necessarily wanting to play for Tibbs, right? Because he makes you work. But I think they would be willing to overlook that. Like I think potential free agents coming up in the summer, or I don't even know when free agency period now is because of the schedule. But when they come around, I think they'd be willing to overlook that because they see that this guy is getting results.
Yeah. And if they do sneak into the playoffs, it would be an intriguing matchup in them versus the Nets, which it could happen. So it'd be
they have to do the play-in tournament.
Oh, okay.
True.
Okay.
True. I think it would be hysterical if. Look, I don't want this to happen. I'm with you, Noel. Like I was very excited to see what the Nets were building organically. I was a little torn about sort of selling your soul a little bit, if you want to call it that. With like, all right, now we got the big time free agents. Now we're trading away our homegrown players, but I understand why they did it, right? Because you just can't, like, there's a bit of a risk, but it's like when those types of players are available, you can't really turn it down. Like you have to try for it. You have to go for it. You have to go all in. But wouldn't it be kind of cruel if like the Nets are finally got their spotlight and then the Knicks are like, well, hey, we're going to play you in the playoffs. It's like, but I mean, we should be happy because both of these teams in the past have disappointed. I think the Knicks more so in the past 20 years, like no team has lost more than the Knicks. So it would be a treat to get postseason basketball in New York in general.
Yeah. And you bring up a great point about like, basically selling your soul and mortgaging the future. Because the last time they did it with, Kevin Garnett and, Paul Pierce, it didn't really work out that well. And then that, and it's been quite some time since they made the finals, those 2 years.
Yeah. And I said this when the trade happened. It's not the same. What they did is not the same as what they did with those guys because they were way older. They were past their prime. Like Kyrie is prime. Durant. We were nervous a little bit about the Achilles, but he's been looking fantastic. Yeah. The fact that he has been able to rest now. I know he would rather be playing, and I think the COVID stuff, unfortunately, maybe set him back because then he kind of came back and it was whatever. But the point is we see that generally he's going to be able to play at a very, very high level. So, and then the fact that Harden's there kind of can take some stress off of him as well. So with all that being said, it's looking pretty good.
Well, now we mentioned in the NBA, you do cover UConn women's basketball for us and why. So we would be remiss if we didn't ask you a little bit about that as the season they're having and dealing. You report covering the team in the bubble. What kind of challenges have you faced not being able to, because you're used to being on the sidelines? How difficult has it been doing your job over Zoom, basically?
It was an adjustment. So yes, typically like last year was my first year as the beat reporter for UConn women's basketball on SNY. The year before that, I actually covered the men's team.
Right.
But last year, I was at every game, even the games that weren't broadcast on SNY, I would go and cover. And so it was a lot of travel, and I was just around the team so much and around the coach. And I was really able to get to know the players and develop a good rapport. So that came, there's a lot of new faces. There's a lot of new faces on this UConn team. And so I think my getting to know them took a little longer for that because again, I'm not just like hanging around the facility. I'm not watching shoot arounds before games. And so at the beginning, just being in the studio for like pregame coverage and like digital coverage in game, I would try to get on the phone with a player earlier in the day on game day or listen in on like a call with Gina Auriemma, or I I've been more active in like just being on every Zoom media availability I can, and just kind of getting on and talking with the players and asking questions, because I think building a relationship with who you're covering is one of the most important aspects of being able to do a good job and tell a good story, because you really need the subjects that you're covering to feel comfortable with you in order for them to share, information, for them to trust you and feel just like it can be a conversation. I think that's when you really get the best, the best stuff. So it took a bit of time, but I do feel like now the new players especially like know who I am, at least, when I hop on and they see my face, like you guys are seeing right now. So that helps. And then, the other thing I thought was hard, like being in studio is just hard to replicate that energy of being in the arena on game day, and, people filtering into the arena, and the buzz, and the band playing, and the mascot running around, and it being loud, and that energy is really hard to replicate. So like, I remember the first couple of shows I did from the studio, I felt a little flat. Like I don't know, I had trouble getting in the zone, but then I kind of got used to it and was able to like get myself hyped up for it. But I'm just so grateful that we get to do this. We've gotten to see women's basketball. There has been some disruption. Like we've had some pauses. Knock on wood, no one on the UConn team has had to, sit out due to COVID specifically. It was more other programs that were causing their schedule to change. And I'm just hoping that they can get through. We have a couple more games on SNY this week. And then there's one or two that they may or may not be able to make up. Then we have the Big East tournament, and then we go to the NCAA tournament. And I hope that these players get the chance to make it to that bubble environment, that controlled environment, and just be able to play their hearts out, because we didn't get to see that last year. And it was really heartbreaking. And I know it wasn't just that sport. It was a lot of sports, and it was high school sports across the country. And like, just so many people like missed out on that opportunity. And I hope we get that this year, and that everyone can stay healthy.
Now, before we let you go, if we're talking UConn women, I'm from Connecticut, born and raised, and I've seen so many great players go through those halls and step on that court. I mean, back in the day, dating myself, I played some pickup games with Diana Taurasi. That was amazing.
That's awesome.
I was so embarrassed. I was just just set picks. Just
use that body.
That's it. Just use my size. Don't ever shoot.
Yeah.
But I have not seen many players step on the court like Paige Behrens has, and especially as a freshman.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about her emergence? And look, Gino gushes over her, but like, she has the potential to maybe be the greatest player ever to play at UConn, and that's saying something.
It's saying something, and I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But you mentioned Gino like gushing about her. I think Gino has been complimentary, but he hasn't been. It's not like he goes around bragging about Paige Behrens. He keeps everybody very humble and even keeled. And the good thing about her is that she is naturally very humble. She is, personality-wise, pretty much everything you want in a player. She's unselfish. She's poised. She is smart. Like she gets it. Like she gets it on the court as far as basketball IQ, and she gets it as far as just common sense and, dealing with people, like that street smart. She has that. She's been in a really unique position, and a lot of people have, of course, it's been warranted, like drawn comparisons to previous UConn players, and particularly where they were as freshmen. The thing is that not many freshmen in UConn's history have had to carry the load that Paige has had. Right. And so when you talk about the greats like Diana Taurasi, Maya Moore, Brianna Stewart, like they were on really, really deep teams. And Paige, I think the team around her has had ups and downs. And so if you notice, like if you watch any of the games where they play top teams or what have you, like she at times has to carry, like she has to take over sometimes. So that's something to watch with the comparisons. But as far as her game, gosh, I really see so much potential. Like there's so many shots that she has in her arsenal. She's very good defensively as well. She looks slight in stature, so people don't necessarily see her as like this physical threat, but yet she's actually deceivingly long, like her arms and her wingspan. She gets steals. She's very quick. And I think what's most impressive is, well, there's a few things, but I think her release, like if you watch her coming off screens, her trigger, like quick release on the shot, I think is amazing. She's a great 3-point shooter. She leads the team in 3-point percentage. In fact, she might have the highest 3-point percentage in the country. I think that's right. So that was the other thing I was going to talk about is her efficiency. Like that's where she is so valuable because she understands when she needs to take action and like she takes the right shots. And that's been a bit of an evolution for her because when she started, and if you've seen any like Paige Behrens like hype videos and stuff from like her high school days, which there are a lot out there on the internet, like you see all these flashy assists, right? She's like just passing dimes everywhere. And she loves that. She loves to facilitate. She loves those like long passes for an assist. But because of the team around her, Gino has had to encourage her to really shoot more and just be like, look, like you have the ability to shoot more and we need you to shoot more because you are such a good shooter. So she's been attacking and been a lot more aggressive. Like I would say midway through the season to now. You guys, by the way, I am on a tangent right now and stop me if I'm rambling, but this is,
I would have gotten in your ear.
I know. So if you want to move on, tell me to just like buzz off, please do. But when I start talking about this, I obviously get very passionate. I really love watching Paige play. And on top of that, I just think, her personality it makes her so likable and like easy to root for. I'm really curious just to see what happens in the postseason. I think she's got it in her because she seems to have the clutch gene. She seems not to get shaken by much. It's going to be fun to watch. And I'll be honest, I find it really, really almost impossible that UConn does not win at least one national championship with Paige Behrens. I expect more than one, but she's just that type of player.
Well, Maria, we really appreciate your time. When is your next broadcast with UConn?
Mañana. What's tomorrow? Okay. Thursday?
Yeah.
So UConn plays Creighton tomorrow at 5:00. We will be on pregame at 4:30 Eastern on SNY. So do tune in. And also, follow SNY's like UConn Twitter and Instagram because we've been trying to build that up and we post a lot of content and I post like my in-game reports to there. So that's at SNY UConn on Twitter and Insta.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Maria, thank you so much for coming out. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
No problem. You're like, okay, she finally stopped talking.
No. No, the more you talk, the less I have to listen to Noel. So it's perfect.
True. It's true.
All right. Well, it's been fun, guys. I'll see you soon.
All right.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, so that was great. It's been really interesting to see what happens with both the men's and women's.
I feel like they just need to get to the bubbles, and once they get to the bubbles, it'll be fine.
Right, but the amount of teams in like one location, it's going to be crazy, and just like all the the housekeeping and just all the ins and outs, and it's going to be really interesting to see. But let's go to hockey. And the big story today was Claude Julien out of a job again by the Montreal Canadiens, got fired. What's that?
That's a thanks, Carey Price.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, he got fired along with, more importantly, Kurt Muller is out of a job. I know how excited Islander fans are about that. You never really want to see anybody lose a job, but Kurt Muller, F you. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Every so often we see angry Noel, and it's a little scary, and it's also a little enticing.
It's only been 25 years. It's a long time, but hate runs deep. But yeah, they've won two of the last 8 games, and both of those were against Vancouver, I believe.
That's the only team they could beat is Vancouver.
Yeah, exactly. They've struggled against Ottawa, and it's in that division. It's pretty easy.
It's terrible. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, I didn't mean to step on you there. But I'm noticing that the only division it looks like it can play any defense is the East.
Yeah. The Mass Mutual East Division. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that could be a trivia question. Name the sponsors, because I completely forgot what they all were.
Yeah, those are the only two. Doesn't Discover or Duncan? I don't even know.
I call it the Metro.
What's that?
I still call it the Metro Division.
Yeah.
It should be the Duncan. It should definitely be the Duncan.
The Patrick Division, but that's another story. Yeah, but yeah, it's kind of interesting because they are in the 4th playoff spot in that division. Resting, I guess, kind of coming. Calgary is kind of like closing in, but I don't really feel like Calgary is going to catch them. But even all these struggles, they're still in a playoff spot. So it's kind of interesting to see. And this wasn't like a.
Oops, sorry,
I got it.
I was just trying to get ready for trivia.
Yeah, you're that eager for it. But it's just because this wasn't like a rash decision. It seems like this was in the works for a little while.
It does. And if you look at the division too, man, it's just. I know technically the Maple Leafs are playing well, but the rest of the division is an absolute disaster. Edmonton is what they are. They're 2 players. Calgary has been really underachieving. Vancouver has been a hot mess. Ottawa's still young, but they still obviously are not a great team. And the Jets are just kind of inconsistent. They're just kind of there. So to see what Montreal has not been able to do after a hot start, but like I said, you can't play every game against Vancouver, and you have to be able to beat other teams. So it seems like this was in the works. It's weird. The whole thing is weird. And just when we think Montreal turns the corner, they're not there yet. So they still need a center. Their goaltending's still a bit of a mess. And despite playing well at times, it just seems like there's something missing there.
Yeah, I mean, they were my pick for to win the division. And
now was Vancouver. I think mine was Vancouver. We're gonna look that up.
So both of us, yeah. But Zach, you have some info about Carey Price, right? His struggles, don't you?
I do. For his contract wise?
Contract and just basically his play over the last calendar year.
Contract wise, I think for the next 5 or 6 years, he's due about $10.5 million a year.
Not good.
Not good at all. And I saw something saying that if they were to buy him out, $600K for the next, what was it? After a certain year, it was like for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, the contract's it's rough. You really can't buy it out. Their only saving grace would probably be sending a 1st-round pick to Seattle to take him in the expansion draft. That's if he doesn't have a move.
With that price tag, no, it might cost more than the 1st-round pick. It might be one of their better prospects, like a Kotkaniemi or someone like that. Yeah. Obviously, it's not Suzuki. But in order to take on $10 million, I don't know if a 1st-round pick's enough.
But also, Kotkaniemi has not been living up to his 3rd overall pick hype since entering the league.
No, but he's still 20 years old, and you have to think.
Yeah, but Carey Price since the 23rd of last year, 6-6-4. He's got a 3.16 goals against. His save percentage under 90. It's 8.9. And this is probably the most glaring stat. He's allowed 4+ goals in 8 games.
That's not good.
That's not good at all. That's not good. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But we'll still stay in that division real quick and just briefly talk about the 2 best players probably in hockey right now, both Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews.
When did Nathan McKinnon get traded to this division?
Never. But right now, these 2 are another level. McKinnon, one of the best players too. But these 2 are like on another level right now. Potentially, Matthews can get 50 goals in the 56-game season. He's on that pace right now. And Connor McDavid's almost a 2-point-a-game player. He has 500. What's that?
That's not surprising that McDavid's a 2-point-per-game player.
No, it's not at all. But to get 100 points potentially in a 56-game season, I mean, we know Gretzky, easily did that, years ago. But just to do this in this type of season. Well, I shouldn't say that because the season with being an all Canadian is probably a lot easier because half those teams are terrible. But just to do it, it's
right.
It's a real big accomplishment.
Well, I mean, yes, I think it's a great achievement. Look, if Matthews has 50 goals in 56 games, if McDavid throws up 100 points in such a short season, both amazing. They're both great players, but I feel like, man, Toronto's not playing the Bruins at all. They're not playing Tampa. No. They're not playing anyone in the Eastern Conference outside of Montreal and Ottawa.
Right.
Whereas McDavid, he's kind of playing his normal teams, but still not playing the Dallases and the St. Louises, although St. Louis is a mess, but still they can play defense, or Colorado. So I just feel like they're all just kind of – they've been deported up north, and they're all just there by themselves playing pond hockey, throwing up 11-goal games. So while, yes, it's impressive, and yes, you tip your cap to them, it just seems like I'm not ready to crown Austin Matthews. I will crown McDavid. He's amazing. I'm just not ready to be all in on that. I guess I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm just not completely bought in.
I know no one's going to want to agree with this, but it's starting to show. Obviously, Edmonton's a 2-player team.
Right.
Are you going to start to make the case that that's the same with Toronto? I know you have Matthews, Nylander, Tavares, Riley, Marner, but Matthews and Marner run that team.
It seems that way.
Tavares' contract's going to be terrible.
It is terrible.
Marner has not been living up to the hype at all.
He's a role player.
And Morgan Riley hasn't been good. The team is run through Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner.
Yeah.
Are they starting to be similar, where you have McDavid and Draisaitl and Matthews and Marner?
I don't think so, because there's more talent around those guys than in Edmonton. I mean, the Maple Leafs won tonight, 2-1. Nylander scored both goals. So
there's still more talent in Toronto, and
there's more talent
there.
Yeah, both defenses. I mean, Toronto's defense is a little better than
it is
Edmonton's, and the goaltending's.
I think their goaltending is significantly better.
Yeah, I guess a lot better because Mike Smith is, not good in what is he? Anders Nielsen, right? Is the other or
Mikko Koskinen?
Mikko Koskinen. I'm trying to remember the other Islander. Flame out. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But do you want to talk about the free agency or go to trivia?
Let's get to trivia. It's already 9:40. Jay's been standing by. This is our first week of a guest competitor against Noel. So we're going to bring in I'm going to give him a title already because we're going to have him back on soon enough. Our fantasy baseball expert, Jason Duponte, will be taking on Noel tonight. Jay, how are you, bud?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys. Great show.
And if you can't tell, Jay is a little bit all in on one certain team. Jay, who are you a fan of? Would that be the Toronto Blue Jays? I can't tell.
Little bit. Well, because we go way back. We love talking about 2004 and what happened then. So if you want to talk about the Red Sox, I'm more than happy. I'm prepared for trivia, though.
The funny thing is, Noel and I were working on the World Series that year, and we were so mad after the Yankees choked away that lead. We walked into the stadium for I think Aerosmith sang the national anthem. I think it was. We walked in for the national anthem, put our hands on our hearts, watched the flyover, went back into the Baseball Tonight truck, and did not leave for the rest of the series.
That's great. I actually enjoy hearing that.
So quick little story. My wife was actually pregnant with Zach at the time, and this was Game 4. It was on a Monday night, and we had Lamar's class, which absolute total waste because when wife gives birth, you don't do anything. You're there for moral support, and that's about it. So the Yankees had a big lead in that game. This was before smartphones. I couldn't really check it, so I kept on little breaks running out, call my mother to get scores. They were winning, excited. I'm like, all right, class is over. We drive home, get home. Mario and Rivera's on the mound. We're going to the World Series. What happens? Dave Roberts steals the second base. It's all downhill from there. So. Yeah, but at least I got this, beautiful child out of it, right, Zach?
Well, I do have a question. In our fantasy baseball draft that I'm doing with my friends, I have the second overall pick. Do you have any player in specific that I should be taking?
One question to you. What type of scoring system are we talking about?
Whatever the default one is on ESPN, the default setting.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to call me a homer, even though he plays on the West Coast. But I think people are getting really cute, staying away from Mookie Betts because he's done it so many times. everyone wants the shiny new toy, the Fernando Tatis. Not that these aren't great players, but keep it simple. Mookie Betts, if you go back the last 5-6 years, he's better than Mike Trout for fantasy baseball, and he's on the Dodgers. So I would take him number 2 gladly. And I think it's wide open, though, to be quite honest. From like picks 1 to 7, it's really a toss-up, personal preference. But I've been finding Mookie's making it a little bit closer towards the middle of the first round. So that's where I would go. But to be quite honest, I don't think there's a terrible pick. I would stay away from Mike Trout, though. He's great in real life, but in fantasy, he's very good. He just doesn't steal bases anymore, which is what you need in fantasy.
All right.
There he goes. Don't overthink it. He just said, keep it simple.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Let's bring up the board. And since Jay, you are our guest, you will go first. Here are our topics: 2 first names. So it's an athlete who has 2 first names. They're both their first and their last name are a first name of a person. That's a better way to describe it. Then MLB retired numbers. Then buy me some peanuts. It's a baseball category. Every answer has the word. Starts with the letter P. Body parts. The answer contains a player with a first or last name that could be a body part. And where are you from? I'll name you an athlete, and you tell me what country they're from. So, Jay, the board is yours.
Sure. I think after watching James with Jeopardy, you got to go at the bottom with where you feel good. Let's go MLB retired numbers for 5.
MLB retired numbers for 5, and my computer's wigging out, so we're going to stall just a second here. It loves to show my emails. All right. Oh, why is it doing this? This is great. Live TV television, people. All right, here we go. All right. MLB retired numbers for 5. Chicago Cubs, number 23.
Ryan Sandberg.
There you go. Off to a big 5-point start. Okay, where would you like to go, Noel?
2 first names for 3.
2 first names for 3. Drafted 4th overall in the 1981 NHL draft. This center played 23 seasons with the Whalers, Penguins, Hurricanes, and Maple Leafs as the second his second all-time in career assists. He hung up his skates in 2004 and is now the general manager of the expansion Seattle Kraken.
Your boy Ron Francis.
And someone who has sworn at me twice in my life. The correct answer is Ron Francis. I had to put that in there. I'm glad you got it, Noel. All right, Jay, you were up.
So can I stick with the same category, or do I have to move?
The same category? Absolutely.
Okay, let's go 4 for MLB retired numbers.
All right.
Oh, I'm smelling a blowout.
I am too. Minnesota Twins, number 34.
Kirby Puckett.
There you go.
Great PA announcer. Remember that as a kid.
All right, Noel, go ahead.
All right. Okay, so I'm kind of screwing myself over there. I'll do retired numbers for 2.
Retired numbers for 2. All right. New York Yankees, number 4. Really?
Lou Gehrig, come on.
Okay, good. I was really? Getting a little concerned there.
Every number's retired with the Yankees. Come on.
That's a good point. Yeah, it could have been Pat Kelly. All right, Jay, you're up.
We're going to go 3 MLB retired numbers.
All right. Okay. New York Mets, number 41.
Tom Seaver.
Yep, that is correct. Jay is on a fire.
Already down by double digits.
The Mets, I was brainstorming, though. They're one of those teams that is very strict in who they retire. Granted, they have a horrible history, but they've only retired several people.
Players to retire their numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to Brett Gardner's retirement.
The Yankees will do something stupid like that. They'll have Brett Gardner Day.
Oh, they will. He'll definitely get a plaque. In my
Luke Voigt too. Totally.
Absolutely. Love Luke Voigt. 2 first names for 4.
2 first names for 4. All right. He was selected with the 32nd overall pick by the Ravens in the 2018 draft. In his first full season as starter, he set a record for the most rushing yards in the season by a quarterback, led the league with 36 touchdowns, and became the second unanimous NFL MVP winner in league history. In 2020, he became the first quarterback to rush for 1,000 yards in a season more than once.
Why am I drawing a blank on his freaking name? Holy crap. Oh, my God. Zach, you're so embarrassed. You're going to – oh, my God.
5 seconds.
I can't tell if this is serious or
fake. 5 seconds? Michael Vartan gets an hour and a half.
Michael Vartan is our celebrity host.
Really?
Is he being serious or is he, like, lying?
Lamar Jackson.
There you go. Were you being serious?
We'll never know.
Okay. All right, Jay.
Retired numbers 1.
Okay. Retired numbers with Seattle Mariners, number 24.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Yep.
Jesus.
It's a 1-point question, Noel.
They were all 1-point questions.
Not
all right. Let's stay on the left side of the board. 2 first names for 2.
All right.
Oh, no. I already did it 2, right?
You did, but you can do 2 twos. We each get 2 of each category.
That's right.
2 of each number.
That's right. All right, sure. For 2.
All right. As the first African-American pitcher in the American League, this Negro League legend made his ML debut at age 42 in 1948 for the Cleveland Indians. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1971, and a statue of him sits in Cooperstown to commemorate the contributions of the Negro League to the sport.
Satchel Paige.
That's correct. Guys are killing it tonight. Go ahead, Jay.
Let's go buy me some peanuts for 5.
Woo! All right. What MLB player holds the record for most games played with no World Series appearances?
Interesting.
So either first name or last name or both starts with the letter P.
Yeah, my mind goes Mets because they're horrible. Back to our joke earlier, but you got me stumped. I'm not even going to throw something out there.
You got nothing?
Incorrect.
Okay.
Got nothing.
Rafael Palmeiro.
Yep. That's a good 5 question.
All right, Noel.
All right, I'll do 2 first names for 5.
2 first names for 5.
Oh, no.
All right. He was the National League Rookie of the Year in 2005 and the NL Most Valuable Player in 2006. Known for his power, he was 2-time NL Home Run Champion in 06 and 08 and became the fastest player to reach both 100 and 200 home run milestone in MLB history.
Ryan Howard.
Correct. All right. Jay, you are up.
Yeah, we'll go buy me some peanuts for 4.
All right. Okay. What MLB player retired with the same number of home runs as his father?
Wild guess here. Actually, no. Sticking with the P category, I'm not going to go there. That's a good question. Same number of home runs as his father. Again, you got me stumped.
Prince Fielder.
Geez.
Yeah.
Prince Fielder. Yeah.
That was a good one. That was a good one. All right. Noel, you are up, sir.
I'll do body parts for 3.
Body parts for 3. You are now done with 3-point questions. In addition to his pitching abilities, this player was noted for his wax handlebar mustache, which he sported during his 17 career season playing for the Athletics, Padres, and Brewers. His effectiveness as a relief pitcher ushered in the modern closer role and earned him a place in the Hall of Fame in 1992.
Raleigh Fingers.
Raleigh Fingers is correct. All right, Jay, you're up.
All right. Let's mix it up a little. Where are you from, too?
Where you from, too? All right. While playing for Orangeville Prep, Nuggets star Jamal Murray lived in the famed Rosebud Motel, made famous by the show Schitt's Creek, located in this country.
Considering I've never seen Schitt's Creek, I don't watch Jamal Murray. What country? Canada.
That's correct.
Oh, look at that guess.
Yeah.
I figure it's 2-point question. Maybe you'll lean north.
Yeah.
All right, Noel.
I'll do where are you from for 5.
Oh. All right. Where you from for 5? When he's not running the point for the Mavericks, Luka Doncic represents this country that was a former part of Yugoslavia.
Zach, if I get this wrong, you'll kill me, right? Yeah.
I'm even wearing it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
No texting. I know you're in the same room.
No, we're not. Same house.
All right, same house.
Yeah. Latvia.
Incorrect.
Oh, Serbia.
No, also incorrect. Estonia.
Estonia. I was gonna go around the map. Okay.
Porzingis is Latvia.
What's that?
Porzingis is Latvia, Dad.
Oh yeah.
Zach is our Eastern European basketball correspondent. All right, Jay, you're up.
Yep. Let's go back to buy me some peanuts for 3.
Buy me some peanuts for 3. All right. What was the original name of the Milwaukee Brewers?
Nope.
Seattle Pilots.
Yep. Struggling with
Noel.
the P's.
The P's have been tricky.
I was hoping for like Big Poppy.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Nope. No. You handled retired numbers, so we have to make it a little difficult here.
2 first names for 1.
2 first names for 1. All right. On September 7, 1974, in a game against the White Sox, this Angels pitcher became the first player to break a 100-mile-an-hour barrier while clocking a pitch at 100.8 miles per hour. Over his 27-year career, he racked up an MLB record 5,714 strikeouts, which is 839 more than second place.
I figured you would say, put a beat down on Robin Ventura as well.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, Nolan Ryan.
All right. Jay, you are up. You have 1-2 and 1-1.
Okay. Let's go the 1 for where you're from.
Where you from for 1. All right. While he wears red for the Washington Capitals, NHL star Alex Ovechkin also wears the same color when representing this country.
I know this is sacrilegious on a hockey-related show. Let's go with Russia.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right, Noel, you're up.
Let's do where are you from for 4.
Okay. Where you from for 4? Liam Hendricks brings the Thunder from the bullpen, where he was the AL reliever of the year in 2020, a first for a pitcher from this country.
Australia.
That is correct. You have 1 left, Jay.
All right. Yeah.
Actually,
let's go body.
What's that?
Let's go body parts.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You have a 2 left. Body parts for 2?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right. This nickname, this is a good question for you. This nickname initially referred to the poor white laborers who worked to produce supplies for the naval industry. The nickname stuck, and in the 1880s, it was adopted by the state university, which claimed such notable graduates as Michael Jordan and Marion Jones.
University of North Carolina Tar Heels?
That is correct. And if you guys don't know, Jay's a huge Duke University fan, so that worked out well. All right, and you got 1 question left, Noel, as well.
All right. What do I have? 1 point. Let's do buy me some peanuts for 1.
All right. The right field foul pole at Fenway Park is named after this Red Sox great.
Johnny Pesky.
There you go. Nice job tonight, boys. Noel comes out victorious, though, 25-18.
Congrats.
Jay, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And
thanks, guys.
We'll have you back on to try and avenge your loss and also talk fantasy sports in a few weeks.
Sounds good. Look
All
forward
right, thanks,
to it.
bud.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, Zach, do you want the leftover questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, I'm not going to get a single one.
Yeah, you might. All right, here we go. Body parts for one. This athlete completed in his first professional triathlon at the age of 16. In 1987, he finished 36th in his first Tour de France. And in 95, he published a book entitled "It's Not About My Bike: My Journey Back to Life."
I have no idea.
The greatest cycler of all time.
I
caught cheating. This is
couldn't
before
tell you.
your time.
I couldn't tell you
Lance Armstrong.
what you said.
Wow, we just dated ourselves. Okay. Buy me some peanuts for two. PNC Park is the home of what National League team?
PNC Park.
Starts with P or ends with P or both?
Yeah. Either the city or the nickname.
Pittsburgh
Yep.
Pirates.
Pittsburgh Pirates is correct.
Or both.
Where you from for three? Jose Abreu has had a smoking start to his career, and he was the 2014 Rookie of the Year, a three-time Silver Slugger, and in 2020, he became the third person from this island to win MVP.
From this island?
Yep.
Not Long or Staten.
I mean, the only island that I know is Hawaii, but I don't think it's Hawaii.
No, it's a country.
It's a country?
Yes.
I couldn't tell you.
Just name one.
Name an island that's a country.
Name an island that's a country.
I'm a little concerned about what you're learning for social studies.
He can't find his way out of a driveway, so what do you expect?
Cuba.
Yes, that's right.
Good job.
Look at you.
I'm so smart.
Yeah.
Did you text him?
No.
You're trying to save face. You're trying to save face so your education is okay.
I'm so smart.
Yeah.
All right, body parts for four. Round of applause. This lefty pitcher just signed a one-year contract worth $10.5 million with the Washington Nationals on January 26, 2021. He made his MLB debut with the Marlins in 2011 and played for the Padres, where he was named a two-time All-Star before being traded to the Indians in 2018.
With the Nationals.
Body parts.
Oh my God. Is it Brad Hand?
Yes!
I got that one all by myself.
All by yourself.
All by yourself. All right. Well done, sir. Okay. All right. So last question is body parts for five. Okay. I feel like I don't know.
Not going to get it.
This the Canadian-born defenseman began his career with the Nordiques in 1991 before relocating with the franchise to Colorado, where he won 2 Stanley Cups in 96 and in 01. He later served as the head coach of the Kelowna Rockets of the Western Hockey League for 2 years before being fired in 2020. I will add, his son is a rookie for the Lightning.
His son is a rookie for the Lightning?
I think it's the Lightning.
And it's a body part.
Yep.
What?
I'll give you a second.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, Lightning. Rookie for the Lightning, yeah.
Doesn't he have, I think I know who you're thinking of, but before I say it, does he have a brother?
Not that I know of, no.
No.
Hold on, let me look. Your dad's trying to help you.
I know who it is, but I think I know his brother more than I know.
Oh yeah, he does have a brother who was also drafted by the Lightning but plays for the Binghamton Devils. He was traded to the Devils.
I know what his son's name is.
How about you give me the last name?
Cal Foot.
It's Adam Foote was the father. Well done. And that was disgusting, just having to look at those for so long. Yeah, smell-o-vision for sure.
Yeah.
That Jacob says that should be Noel's camera the whole time.
Maybe I'll put a little eyes and mouth on it.
You can get some like googly eyes and tape them to your toes or whatever.
Exactly.
All right, good job with trivia tonight. Noel, nice job. I thought Jay was going to be good competition, and he was.
Yeah, he was good. I definitely
won.
Yeah, I had a poor strategy at first because he was running the table in that category, but it was fun. But we'll get more fans on. Just look out for on our Twitter page and Facebook. We're gonna have details on information how you guys can join trivia. We'll probably do it next week, right?
Well, actually, Michael is back next week, so we'll have to find out. And we made it through a show without him too.
Yeah, we did, and it's amazing. Well, he's still with us.
Yes,
there he is.
Yeah, there he is. He'll always be on your shoulder.
Exactly.
Don't you have that card of him?
What's that? Oh yeah, the card that we showed a few shows ago.
Wait, can you tilt up the camera just for a second? Just so we can see above your head. It says, so what's up? Is there a backstory beside I love mommy and I love daddy?
It's just pictures of actually baby pictures of Zach.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, spelled that, but we didn't really do it for the other kids, so don't tell anybody.
You should have put Vartan's face in the middle.
Well, originally I did, but my big cat was covering it, so that's why he's on mom's closet.
Oh, so Vartan loves mommy too. Sorry.
You went there. All right, restraining order, Dan. Restraining order.
Yes, that's right. And please subscribe to the channel, everyone.
We'll see you next week.
Have a good